Yo. All right, Pisces and Libra, let's get into it. It is Libra season, so Libra, you should feel real prominent right now. Hopefully, your relationship is in a good swing of things. Pun intended? I don't know what's going on with y'all, but anyway, right? Let's get into it. Got to make this disclaimer real quick. I removed the transitional planets from these horoscopes, these relationship horoscopes, because I want you to focus more on the personal planets, being this is a more of a personal discussion. Think about transitional things later on when you have dealt with yourself first. So these are going to be sped up more, if you will. Not actually sped up, but just they're not going to be as lengthy as they were because of those removals. Now, happy Libra season, and let's get to it. The sun, the luminary, is the influencer. It doesn't force you to be jovial and have fun and to focus, but that's what it represents. Focus, all right? The sun. So that's the influence. The expression here, where you are animated at, where you express yourself, is the sign, which is Libra, which represents balance, represents terms, coming to terms with things, and partnering, partnerships, right? So reciprocal partnerships, let me state that, you know what I mean? Bringing balance to your relationships. I don't know if you're monogamous, I don't know if you're poly, I don't know what you're doing out there, if you're just dating, if you're serious, I don't know. Y'all make it fit the way it's supposed to fit, right? And these are things that you share when it comes to your relationships during this transit, all right? However, you are different signs, therefore you have different houses, and what needs to be known is that house causes a different result, all right? You have different intentions when it comes to Libra and the sun because you're different signs, you're different people. You understand what I'm saying? So, at least under the sun sign horoscope, I don't know what your natal charts look like, but not to confuse you, let's get back to it. So, for Pisces, the sun is in the 8th house. Libra is the 8th house for Pisces. I'm a Pisces, so if I'm looking at my Libra chick, I'm going to be focused on sex personally, and I'm going to be focused on transformational sex at that. Or, just things in the 8th house that's going to assist me in some type of transformation that deals with, upgrading. Let's keep it like that. Now, this also entails management of finances, other people's finances, obligated finances that usually comes after partnerships or unions, marriage. If it's not marriage, it's when you're doing business. So you got to take care of the taxes, you got to take care of the insurance, you got to take care of the loans, you got to take care of the debts, so on and so forth. So this is what Pisces is focused on right now, and this is a serious house though. Just because sex there shouldn't be taken lightly, because of these other things that I mentioned, So there's also turbulence in this house. There's extremities. There's boom or bust, right? So the management of the things in this area is important. So not only that, if you do share in the decision making of that Libra, which you probably will if you're with a Pisces because you're the sign of Libra, right? So you get into contractual agreements, that's your thing. You know what I mean? Then you share a common ground when it comes to Pisces 8th house. You will be put in on the secrets. And when I say secrets, it's secrets that you and them know. So it wouldn't be cool to go blabber your mouth about this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because 8th house stuff is secretive. It should be between you and your spouse. So if you see any irritation from your Pisces, that might be a reason why. You might be doing a little bit too much talking when you get on the phone with your family members or whatever the case may be. It's possible, you know what I mean? I've been with Libras, I know how it could go. Now, but there might be some deferring here because you have the sun inside of your first house Libra. So this means focus is on you, right? So how does one focus on themselves when their sign expressed means 2 or more? Definitely means 2. So how do you balance that? How do you know what I'm saying? So personally, I state that Libra is the most, I feel for Libras more than I feel for anybody because of this situation. But I'm not going to get into too much depth of that. Some of it could be explained here. It's like I said, how do you focus on yourself when your partner is looking to you to help assist focus with them in the agreements that y'all are in? Should y'all be in them together? Now, sometimes It could be a situation where your Pisces is like, yo, you don't even got to worry about none of that. I got all of the taxes. I got all of the finances. I'll figure all of that stuff out. I'll handle that. You handle X, Y, and Z. Or you just take care of yourself. You don't got to work. You don't got to do nothing. You're my beautiful wife. And yeah. That's possible too. There are these fairy tale stuff, relationships that go on. And I don't know what else is going on in the household. You know what I'm saying? But kudos to y'all if y'all got it like that. Like real talk. Like I ain't even tripping. Like, you know, that's what a relationship is supposed to be about, right? Balance, reciprocity, and you know, showing each other love. You know what I'm saying? Taking advantage of each other, but in a way that it says, you know, I respect it and I respect it too. Okay, cool, right? Still though, the focus is on you, Libra. So your Pisces has to be understanding of that. You know what I'm saying? Like you may have your own, and I've been through this before personally, you may have your own financial thing going on, or should I say your own obligations to other people other than your spouse. And I know that may sound like weird and out there. It sounded weird and out there to me when I experienced it myself. Now that I'm more mature and I'm more knowledgeable on this subject matter, I understand now. It just didn't sit well with me, so I could see how some Pisces out there might feel that type of way. You understand what I'm saying? There's no common ground with Libra when they're doing that, as you have in the 8th house, Pisces, unless that Libra is including you with that type of partnering that they are conjuring up on their own in those agreements. You know what I'm saying? So y'all make it fit how it's supposed to fit. But if you know this information, you know that you ain't got a trip. You know what I'm saying? Maybe your Libra has a business on their own that they feel, you know, y'all don't gel well in that area. You know what I'm saying? It might be a hair salon or whatever the case may be. And you might have a baldy, Pisces, so just fall back on that. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to be included. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of women coming to get their hair done, and it's not your business. You know what I'm saying? Stay out of that. So it is what it is. That's a prime example of what I'm saying here, though. Now let's get to the planet Mercury. Now the planet Mercury, again, the planet's influence. They don't compel, they don't force you to do anything. You know what I'm saying? But you will get these thoughts. The planet Mercury will, first of all, be the sun's secretary, therefore being assisting the sun on what the sun is focusing on. We already know the sun is focusing on Libra and relationships, the fostering of relationships, right? So Mercury, however, is in the sign of Virgo, and it influences talking, it influencing learning, and it influences talking and learning and processing the information. So pretty much the same thing, but that's how you do it, right? So with it being inside of Virgo, which it rules over, there's going to be some assessments going on. There's going to be some tweaks, making it make sense, making things sensible. And in order to do that, there may be some adjustments being made, and it's for the intent to perfect, right? Make tweaks to perfect whatever it is that's being analyzed here. So again, the intent and the result is the house. So you got to look at what houses it's in for the both of you. Well, for Pisces, again, this is a house of common ground because it's about relationships. Virgo is in Pisces' 7th house, Libra. All right. So that means you are included in their assessment of partnering, partnerships, relationships. Okay. And it's going to assist the sun focusing on Libra relationships. Therefore, it's going to be a lot of looking at you, dissecting this thing, pulling it apart, putting it back together, looking at different scenarios. This could be pros, cons. You understand what I'm saying? Because the focus is on balancing of relationships. So it could be some critical reviews going on here. You know what I'm saying? Taking a look at oneself too, and taking a look at you. It's not just scrutiny on you or just criticizing you, Libra. It's also looking at oneself to say, oh, how can I adjust this to freak it with Bay? You know what I'm saying? Like, what can I do to spice this whole thing up and make shit pop off the way, you know, in a different way? Because Virgo is a mutable sign. Therefore, it knows how to adjust and adapt and tweak to make shit, you know, differ, and not only that, but perfect it. You know what I'm saying? What could be better than a relationship? This is what Pisces thoughts are. You know, don't look at them because I'm telling you this to full-fledged communicate this to you, because Mercury is in retrograde right now. Therefore, they're probably doing more introspecting when it comes to their thoughts and what it is that they should say. Everybody's experiencing this right now as Mercury is in retrograde. All right, so don't take it personal. Now, when it moves into Libra, which is about the 11th, I believe, the 11th of, yeah, I believe it's the 11th that Mercury goes into Libra. Then you'll see how the spillover effect occurs, and you'll see the fostering of the relationships become tighter, be more forward moving and less stagnant. And you'll see why you did all of this critical thinking and looking at the situation. But for you, Libra, it's in a different sign now, isn't it? For Libra, this is in the Virgo is the 12th house, right? So this is where you are in a more isolated period, perhaps. Now, if you are into something that is spiritual of some sense, then maybe your Pisces is included. You know what I mean? That's a possibility. If you're into something that is charitable and your Pisces is included, then there's a common ground that you share. However, if not, you might be isolated for the purpose of, just, again, assisting the sun and focusing on the relationship. You know what I'm saying? How can you make it better? Sometimes when you're in it, you can't fully see it because you're too close up on it. When you back up, you get to see the bigger picture, right? So it could be one of those situations. Pisces, now that you know this information, you don't got to trip when you're Libra and feel like they're being distant. They probably are, you know what I'm saying? But now you know what it is. They're getting into some spiritual matters, perhaps, or some subconscious thinking, right? That's not just so upfront and in your face. They're doing some contemplating. And it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And Pisces, you should know this better than anyone because 12th house is your thing. That's where your home is. You understand what I'm saying? So I pretty much know for the most part, Pisces is going to be understanding at this time when it comes to the thought processes. Again, there might be some stagnation in the communication levels because Mercury is in retrograde, but you'll see how this comes full to the front, especially when Mercury gets into first house of Libra. You're going to see them coming out talkative, lively, like they usually are. You understand what I'm saying? Libra is probably going to be taking the lead in your relationships anyway. It's a cardinal sign. A lot of planet activity. The sun anyway, the focus is in their first house. So they're going to be focusing on how they can lead in a relationship. And Pisces, this is where you can get submissive and let them do their thing. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it. I've experienced it. Libra, if you want to know if your Pisces is thinking about banging you and bending you over and all that, yes, they are. All right? Are they speaking on it? Maybe not. Are they moving on it? Maybe not. They're just waiting for you because that's your thing. You lead off. You do that stuff. You do that. And you will speak it up. You'll bring it up. Like, hey, you ever thought about? Pisces going to be like, yeah, I'm just waiting for you to ask. All right, so let's talk about the planet Venus. Now, the Venus planet, it influences money. It influences attraction. And it influences harmonious interactions. It takes two to tango, right? So for Libra, again, it's in your 12th house. It's in your house of isolation. However, it's exalted here. So should you be interacting, because this planet does influence two or more, right? Then you might be interacting with Pisces in a way that is more, like I said before, spiritual, or just spending time, right? Spending energy with each other that doesn't include all of the material world stuff. You know what I mean? Secluded area type stuff. You might take a trip just to obtain a secluded area so y'all could get around like rose petals and twigs and whatever freaky shit that y'all like. You know what I'm saying? Go do that shit. But it'll be more of a different vibe. You know what I'm saying? Something more sensual that you can get into. With Venus being in, again, it's exalted. Pisces is a 12 houser. It's exalted in the sign of Pisces, Venus. So go figure. This is where y'all could really hit it off. This is where common ground is exalted for y'all too. You know what I'm saying? But again, that's if you're not isolating to the level of discarding your partner, And I know sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you got to get away from your partner in order to self-renew, especially if they toxic. You know what I'm saying, Pisces? I don't know. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? But if they toxic or if they having an impact on you that causes you to isolate Libra, then of course there's going to be some understanding here. And you'll be able to come back in full-fledged Libra mode once Venus goes into Libra, which is the 30th of September. All right. Pisces, on the other hand, sign of Virgo as well. Again, 7th house. Pisces is going to look at their investment in the relationship when it comes to exchange of energy, harmonious interactions. Is it harmonious? Is it not? And again, Pisces, I expect you to have more understanding with this, because I know I would, if I'm looking to reach out to interact with my Libra and she seems to be a little distant, I look at the ephemeris, I see this horoscope, I see what's going on. I'm like, okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? They need some time alone. Cool. You know what I mean? But I will be keeping watch, because it's still the 7th house. It's still a sign of Virgo, which is the expression. I'm going to be I'm going to be assessing this. Is this good for them? You know what I mean? Is it good for you, chick? Because if not, if you're just going on a binge and you're like doing stuff that is harmful to yourself, because 12th house rules over drugs and all that, what they say psychotic shit is, you know what I'm saying? So you could be going in a spiral too. So Pisces is going to be I'm going to be looking at you like, yo, look, you better get it together. You know what I'm saying? Because if this spillover effect comes into your first house, when Libra gets in your first house and all that, and you think everything gonna be rosy with me, you're sadly mistaken. You know what I'm saying? So whether or not you're influenced to talk about this when Mercury goes direct, you'll figure it out when that time comes. You know what I mean? You might have to just jump the gun and do it now. I'm not saying Mercury retrograde suggests that you should not talk, but I'm just saying it can really benefit you when you cross your T's and dot your I's when it comes to it. Let's talk about the planet Mars now. Mars, what does Mars do? Mars influences energy. I'm going to say energy from now on. I think energy is overlooked, and it should, because Mars rules over energy, and I think I just had an epiphany not too long ago. Like, it has strong relevance of the planet. So energy, desire, and acting, taking action, right? So for it being in the sign of Gemini, let's talk about it. For being in the sign of Gemini, right? For Libras, that is the 9th house. So if you have desires, Libra, to speak, I know you do, but to speak, to write some stuff, to travel around a community and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Around your neighborhood, to connect thoughts and ideas with people on a philosophical level. Like, this can help you on a philosophy, to build a mindset that blazes a trail for yourself, that gets you more tapped in with culture, different cultures, learning about these things, obtaining knowledge through your experiences rather than things that are textbook, and even the things that you already know. You understand what I'm saying? Now, taking action on these things will support all of those things that I just mentioned, communicating about them as well. So you might even be in a defender mode of some sort. You might be protecting, which is a Mars characteristic, an ideology of yours that you might have developed on your own, or someone's that you adopted because you just learned about this new culture and you really fucks with them like that. So you're like, yo, nah, you can't fuck with them like that because I fucks with them and those is my peoples and it's up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be one of those. Pisces, just pay attention to this. If you see your Libra being snappy and fiery when it comes to these things, I'd say let them be, especially if they are if you hear the philosophy in it, like a new way of life that they're embarking on. More than that, though, is because it's a solo act. You know what I'm saying? So you don't really want to interrupt Mars when it's going, because it's something that they have to do solo, that they have to do alone. You understand what I'm saying? Now, you could be included. There is a potentiality for common ground for you two to experience this together, Libra and Pisces, because Gemini is a sign and an expression of connecting thoughts and ideas. So who you connecting thoughts and ideas with, Libra? What you saying? You talking to other people and stuff? I'm not qualified to share those ideas and thoughts with me. Let me find out, But, you can still be the leader and the spearheader in your own type of way, Libra, when it comes to this. Of course, Pisces has a Mars inside of Gemini as well, so they're going to have leadership potential in whatever they have to say geared towards these things. But look at this, right? If y'all want to share more of a common ground when it comes to y'all houses, it's possible. Because let's say you want to do some long distance traveling, Libra, and because Mars is exciting you to have some desire about that. You want to go experience somebody else's culture. You want to go on a trip. You want to take a vacation. If you express this with your Pisces and your Pisces is onto it, they could look at homes in that location and be like, well, you know what? If we go there, I'll go with you. And if you like it out there, I'll look for a home out there. We might get a second residency because Mars is in the fourth house. Gemini's in the fourth house for Pisces. Therefore, they're going to be thinking about stuff like that. Oh, why do you want to get away, Libra? You want to get away because you're tired of the hustle and the bustle out here in the city? Okay, you want to go to, big willow trees and beaches and stuff like that? All right, so maybe we should look for that type of environment on a long-term basis. And even if we just take the trip right now, maybe we just going to check it out. You know what I'm saying? See how we feel, see how we vibe with it. If we fucks with it, then we can make a long-term plan. And Pisces is going to be doing the footwork for that long-term plan. I'm not saying, Libra, that you even have to be obligated. If this man or this woman says that this is something that they want to do, you let them do the footwork because Mars is taking action in a solo act. You know what I'm saying? When Libra gets there, when Venus gets there, that's different. But we're talking about Mars being there right now. It's going to be there for the next 7 months. So you let that Pisces put that work in there, or put that energy in there. You understand what I'm saying? To make that happen. But that's where y'all can share a common ground. So that's what I got for y'all. Pisces and Libra. Enjoy the Libra season. I'm out of here.